It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Konica Minolta going to the moon. I gotta say, when I saw this press release, I just thought to myself, what in the hell? That's really what I thought, and some other things. But here's the question. Is Konica Minolta taking one small step toward removing moon dust or one giant leap towards insolvency? I'm thinking they're taking one, leap toward insolvency. I mean, folks, we've all seen Konica Minolta's financials. And every time I see one of these crazy press releases from Konica Minolta, whether it's them going to the moon or whether it's something about an award they just bought, you know what I think about? Here's what I think about, ladies and gentlemen. When will Konica Minolta tell us what they've done successful instead of these endless press releases telling us what they're going to do? I mean, seriously, that's all Konica does. They tell us what they're going to do. And of course, the awards that they buy, who gives a crap about, right? That's all nonsense. But when are they actually going to tell us what they've done successful? I mean, it's just insanity. I mean, remember this? The workplace hub's going to change the world for IT. I mean, IT people are still laughing about that disaster, right? Remember Mobotics? Remember MGI? Going to change the world for industrial print. Remember Ambry Genetics? Going to change the world. Holy crap, ladies and gentlemen. It just seems to me that Konica Minolta has these ambitions that end up in impairment charges. Their operating profit losses over the last, you can't even go back that far in time, right? I mean, it's just crazy. The company is basically a disaster financially. But yet, they're still doing these crazy press releases. And I got to tell you, here's what I'm thinking. You know, should Konica Minolta be clearing moon dust or their clouded business visions? And I think they should be clearing their clouded business visions. They should, whatever the hell's on their glasses when they're looking toward the future, clean the shit off, okay? I mean, put the moon dust clearing aside for a little while and start figuring out your business visions and why they're so damn cloudy. And of course they're cloudy because it seems like everything that Konica Minolta touches turns into some kind of an impairment charge. Let me just read the press release for you, ladies and gentlemen. Konica Minolta concludes a joint development agreement with Toyota Motor Corporation for a manual pressurized rover. I mean, this is exciting stuff, right? Today announced that the company concluded a joint development agreement with Toyota Motor Corporation regarding dust removal technology. In collaboration with Toyota, Konica Minolta will study the possibilities of developing a dust removal system in space for a manned pressurized rover. Holy smokes. I mean, doesn't that sound exciting? It'd be more exciting if Konica Minolta actually had profitability and they could execute on what their visions were. But obviously, I mean, their track record's not really good about that, right? Ladies and gentlemen, it goes on to say, for more than 50 years have passed since our camera was installed in the U.S. spaceship to capture images of our planet. It is a great honor that our MFP technology will be used in this space development project, which is an entirely different field. And we are deeply grateful for the opportunity. We are confident that our challenge through innovative co-creation by the two companies, which have different cultures and histories, will lead to technological fusion and mutual development and advancements. Boy, that sounds so good, doesn't it? What a great aspiration. Getting together with Toyota, you know. Toyota, a massively profitable company with discipline, and Konica Minolta, basically a financial train wreck mess. Just look at their financials, right? So I'm thinking that the press release should have included this paragraph, and I'll go ahead and share it with you. This is what Konica really should have said. It has been a long time since Konica Minolta had respected operating profit. Our last fiscal year ending 03/31 of 2025, Konica Minolta lost nearly $450 million in operating profit. Since 2020, we have only been profitable 1 year, FY 2023, which at 2.5% was disgustingly low. So we are hoping space dust can return Konica Minolta into a something we have not been in years, which is a highly profitable company. Because, you know, Konica Minolta has a goal to be a highly profitable company. I guess they're thinking that cleaning up the moon dust is going to get them there? Holy crap, ladies and gentlemen. Is it a case of unrealistic optimism meeting inability to execute? I want to share some of Konica Minolta's visions that they've had and then share the impairment charge that they wrote against them. And you know, I have to bring up this planetarium because obviously planetarium and moon dust kind of, you know, they're kind of related, right? I mean, holy crap, ladies and gentlemen. November 2019, Konica Minolta Inc. today announced that it's concluded an agreement to acquire RSA Cosmos, a top global manufacturer of digital planetariums. We're in the planetarium business. Okay? Y'all remember that? Holy crap almighty, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all remember this? It was back in February of 2024 at one of them road shows for dealers where Konica Minolta executives stood on stage and talked about how they had a revenue dip because of an impairment charge in the planetarium business. That's when we all realized that the leaders here in the United States didn't understand financials. They thought, a hit on revenue was caused by an impairment charge in the planetarium business. I did a whole episode on that because I thought it was so humorous and disgusting at the same time. But ladies and gentlemen, realistically, $11 million impairment charge in the planetarium business. It was also at that meeting that Konica Minolta discussed some great things. They're talking to the dealers. Improve profitability for dealers and partners. That was one of their goals. That's when I, yelled really loud. I wasn't allowed to go to the meeting. I had to do an episode on it. But in that episode, I yelled really loud. I said, hey, Konica Minolta, why don't you focus on your own operating profit before you start trying to help dealers be profitable? Seriously. Maybe if you could figure out why you're not profitable, that would be an asset to helping dealers. Can you even believe that they would even think this? Stand on stage and talk to dealers about profitability? Really? Talk to dealers about diversification strategies? Talk to dealers about, executing on your dreams, on your visions? Do they really talk to dealers about these things? I'm hoping not, because they've been a miserable disaster as far as Konica's goes. Ladies and gentlemen, do we all remember what happened for their FY 2024, which ended March 2025, over 438 million operating profit loss in dollars. We all know what happened in 2020, 2021, 2022. They squeak out this disgustingly low operating profit in FY 2023 at 2.5%, but realistically, the company cannot perform financially. That's just the reality. Just look at their numbers, right? Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about some of that $438 million operating profit loss that they posted in FY 2024. $159 million impairment loss was in the sensing unit. The sensing unit, the display and light source color fields, is that kind of where the planetarium thing is? Is that where the space dust thing's going to be? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Had a $159 million impairment loss. Remember the Ambry genetics? Oh, we're so excited about this. Is it a case of unrealistic optimism meeting inability to execute? I'm thinking so. They paid, $1 billion for it? They held on to it for a few years, and every year that they held on to it, if you go to their financials, it was a train wreck mess. Right? And then they end up dumping the thing for almost, half of what they bought it for. And holy crap, ladies and gentlemen, it was a disaster. I wanted to show the bull taking a poop because just to remind me of some of the crap that Konica Minolta does to kind of cover up some of their deficiencies. They do a lot of press releases to distract you. Here's a new press release so you don't think about the non-release of our last press release. Here's a new way we're going to present financials to you. We're going to throw in this business contribution profit, which I call pure bullshit, and distract you from the operating profit. Holy crap, ladies and gentlemen, you can't even make this up. It's so crazy, right? You remember MGI? Oh, MGI is going to save industrial print. Holy crap, Well, ladies and gentlemen, the professional print business, they lost a whole bunch of money in FY 2024, which ended March of 2025, but MGI had a $95 million impairment loss. Holy smokes. Do y'all remember the other press release? Konica Minolta presents the purpose of its professional print business at Drupa 2024, the world's leading trade fair for printing. Signing over 200 business contracts with global customers at the event, which was held on site for the first time in 8 years. Well, I don't think that Drupa helped them. What were they sharing? What was the purpose of the professional print business that they were sharing? We can run this business and make no money and still be happy? What were they telling the people, right? Holy crap, this is just craziness, Ladies and gentlemen, I think you've seen the financials regarding the professional print business. By the way, the industrial print business as a component is a $303 million business. It's not even that big. I mean, it's like, should they even be in the industrial print space? And I'm sure the people at Droop are probably asking the same question. They're probably laughing at them. You know, aren't these the folks that had that workplace hub? I mean, they could have asked that, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, how about Mobotics? You know, I mean, folks, you could just go one after the other. You know, Mobotics. Well, let's see. Mobotics had 137.1 million impairment charge. Folks, what is it? It's visions, aspirations, without the ability to execute. It's got to be what it is, right? The workplace hub. I mean, folks, there's IT people all over the world laugh their ass off every time this comes up, right? Workplace hub, going to change IT, going to change business and the way they do IT. Holy crap. I mean, what the hell? I got to ask, is it a case of unrealistic optimism meeting inability to execute? Was it just a bad, stupid idea? I mean, holy smokes. Is it a case of unrealistic optimism meeting inability to execute? I think about all covered. All the stuff they bought up underneath, all covered. I mean, the IT people, they're going to be IT all over the world. Right? Remember that? Holy crap, ladies and gentlemen. This was right on their financials. Let me just read this to you. Completed transfer of MWA Intelligence, the U.S. sales company's ERP Solutions Division. Don't want to do the ERP anymore. Completed transfer of Hydra Cloud, the IT infrastructure, construction, and operation business of Norwegian sales company. We're out of that business. Completed transfer of French IT training business. We're out of that. Completed transfer of part of the software business of French sales company. Boy, they're cleaning up a lot of IT stuff over there in Europe. I remember wasn't that long ago that the U.S. president of Konica Minolta was doing an interview with a guy with a hat and said they were going to take all cover to Europe. I wonder if they ever did that. My guess is probably not. Because it seems like they have a liquidation strategy, not a growth strategy going on in Europe. Going on in that DWDX division of Konica Minolta, where all that IT services stuff lives. When will Konica Minolta tell us what they've done successful, instead of the endless press releases telling us what they're going to do? And who else is thinking? WTF Konica? Because I can't be the only one. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping that Konica Minolta can just face reality. And if they could face reality, they'd realize, you know what, maybe it makes a whole lot of sense for us just to go to Fujifilm and let them buy up our assets. Because, folks, at this rate, press release after press release, telling everybody what they're going to do, and then we all see where it all ends up in impairment charges and disaster. It can't really be their, goals for the future, right? Because, folks, everybody watching me knows this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck there, and I'll see you all tomorrow.